Carol Ofori. Weekdays 9 a.m. till 12. East Coast Radio.
But there's obviously little nuances of it at a greater scale. But none of it has been directly direct to Sinenjabulo as CEO of AmaZulu. But I think just largely we are a minority, especially in those at that level. I can literally count us in my hand. So it's a challenging space, but it's good. It's good. And I think if you're ambitious, have a vision, and are quite determined to make the change that is required, nothing's going to stop you.
Nothing's going to stop you. Remember, we are live on Facebook Live, so if you'd like to see us literally in conversation with Zungu, you can go onto Facebook, go to East Coast Radio's Facebook page, and you will find the conversation live. So, I mean, this space, and we're so happy that you could make it, and on such an important day, as I say, the beginning of March being International Women's Month, this whole space is about driving many women. Now, you don't only wear the hat of CEO, you wear the hat of mommy, you wear the hat of daughter, you wear the hat of friend, you play so many hats that you wear. How do you find yourself navigating all these journeys and clearly trying to keep all these balls in the air? Because some women will say you can't have it all, and some women say yes, you can have it all with support. What do you say?
I think you can have it all with the right support, and I'm fortunate enough to have the right support. From a mother role, my role as a mom, I've got great support at home in raising my son. As a friend, I've got great support from my friends. They cheer me on. They're very supportive. I mean, actively supportive as well. Even just simple things as interviews, they'll be the first to say, "We can't wait to listen," and that means a lot. I think you definitely can have it all. You must just be able to find the right balance, whatever that means and whatever that looks like to you.
I love that. We're going to get into your foundation. We're going to get into your inspiration for women, just to give them that extra push to keep going and keep chasing dreams that may seem impossible. I'm sure when you walked into the role as CEO of an entire PSL like football club, you were like, I couldn't have thought this would have happened, and it has happened, and you're living that life. So to push other women who don't see dreams big happening for themselves and it actually coming to fruition. I have a phenomenal guest in studio, AmaZulu FC CEO, Sinenjabulo Zungu, with me in studio, and she has a colourful CV of the amazing work she's done in the marketing space. She's also a mom and of course a businesswoman, and we've been getting to know her, what drives her, what keeps her motivated. And I guess it leads me to my next question to you. Being a businesswoman, and everybody knows you've just mentioned the highs and the lows. What would you say has been your greatest lesson as a businesswoman?
Greatest lesson? You're not an island. You definitely need the support of other people that have walked the path. And people that might have not necessarily walked the path ahead of you, but that are in the space. For me, it's very important to work with people. So I think that is my greatest lesson, to continue working with people and never thinking that you know more than others. You're constantly learning, whether it's a space you're new in or a space that you're really very familiar with.
Right, you continue learning. That's so important. And your greatest highlight since joining AmaZulu as the CEO?
There's so many. What can I think of? I think the greatest highlight for me is seeing our store at Moses Mabhida coming to fruition. That was my project. So so that for me was big. Just also purely because when we came on board, there was a huge demand for our merchandise, whether it's because the people hadn't had access to it before, or whether it was just excitement of the new dawn, or the rebirth of the brand. I don't know what the reason was, but there was a huge demand for it, and we thought, you know what, we don't have a store, so let's make something for our supporters. And
it's doing great.
The reception has been really, really, really good. Sales are good. And I think people just really love it. They love the idea of having their own store as AmaZulu supporters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now, from the greatest highs and the greatest amazing things, on a journey, there's always a pitfall and there's always a low. What would you share with us as a low and how you came out of that low?
A low. I wouldn't say it's a low, but I think it was just I really don't want to get into this, but I think it was just a disappointing realization, really. What happened this past weekend. For me, that was disappointing. Because we've had good relationships with all PSL clubs, really. But what happened this weekend was really just a disappointment that I felt, and I think just the club felt generally, even probably the opposition club as well.
Yeah. And let's chat a little bit about your charity work. I know you've got the Mvuselelo Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about that and also why you like the charity aspect of life?
Yeah, so I think there's one thing that when you are, well, sometimes when you're seated and you're coming from a point of privilege that sometimes we take for granted. Some things we take for granted. And I think something as simple as kids that go to schools in townships or rural areas, not having access to certain things and not being exposed to certain things. Things like the possible careers you can take. Things like this is the door you go to if you want a bursary or a scholarship. Extra lessons. Those things we take for granted because why? We have access to them. They are readily available to us. So I decided, I've seen it. I mean, even the teachers in those schools, because they aren't that exposed either, they can't give proper direction to the kids.
Right.
So myself and a partner of mine, we decided, you know what, let's start this foundation. Well, actually, I said, let's start this foundation and let's see what we can do with it. Let's help kids, especially starting with a girl child in Umlazi, where we can help them, groom them, give them life skills, give them platforms where they can even communicate or have sessions with people who have come out of those situations and have really excelled. I think we have a lot of exemplary people who are succeeding, who come from those kind of situations in KZN that we can make examples of. So that's what the foundation is really about, to help these kids in that aspect.
Oh, that's beautiful. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'd love you to motivate the ladies that are listening, and not just in KZN, they listen all over. And I know in motivating the ladies, a lot of men are also motivated in their lives. I find that we live in a time now where any form of motivation, encouragement for people to carry on and pursue seems to be something that people are yearning for and wanting. And we had a very important question coming from Rory. He ran from his producer's booth because he has to ask this question. Before you do, please remember you can find us on Facebook Live. So please come say hi to us on Facebook Live. You can see us in studio. You can see AmaZulu FC CEO sitting pretty here in studio, and you can see the conversation. So if you are able to get to Facebook, get there. What was your pressing question, Mr. Rory?
So being the CEO of a PSL club, do people ever come to you and go, you should have done this, you should do this, this is what you should have done last week, why don't you do this, why don't you fire the coach, get this man? Don't they annoy you? Don't they just come to you and just like, because all the fans have an opinion and all the fans think that they know what's right.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely, all the time. Just recently, this past weekend, I had one of the supporters basically just saying that we said we have lots of money, so we must go and buy all the players and all the players from overseas. And why are we not firing our coach? But you know what? I forgive them because they don't know. They don't know what goes on in the background. They don't know what goes internally. They don't know how involved we are. They really just don't know. So, yeah, I mean, they get very passionate. Sometimes they're just like, I'm tempted to respond, but I won't. I'll be diplomatic. I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Social media is the worst. Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh.
I literally have stopped reading those comments because I'm tempted to respond every time, and that's not going to be very cute.
Why don't you buy Cristiano Ronaldo? Why don't you buy him? Bring him here. Why isn't he playing for AmaZulu?
You guys are always drawing.
It's the worst.
I love it. Leading into the next question, I believe you have a plan for 2032. As you take AmaZulu forward. Any specific things you want to see as your end goal for 2032?
I mean, there's so many things, Carol. 2032 will mark the 100th year centenary of AmaZulu.
Wow.
So when we took over, that was 2 years ago, 2020.
Right.
So that would be 12 years to 2032. So there are some things that we have done that were a part of the plan, including the shop, like I mentioned earlier on.
Yeah. Was Benny also part of the plan, hiring him as a coach?
I wouldn't say it was part of the initial plan.
Okay.
But it happened. And it happened beautifully.
It did.
And it was a good thing.
It did. I mean, when I saw him at, shopping here, I was like, by the way, he's here because he's the coach.
It was a good thing at that time. It worked really well for AmaZulu.
Yeah.
It worked well for him also.
Right.
So it ended up being a part of the plan.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that are a part of the plan. I mean, the store, we launched an app.
Oh.
Yeah, we launched an app over a year ago, but we relaunched it just recently.
Okay, and what can you do on the app?
Now it includes like benefits. It's 3-tiered. You're either a non-paying subscriber, and you just get basic access to certain functionalities, or you're a paying subscriber,
right?
And you have access to certain benefits, loyalty benefits, as well as a funeral policy.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot that we're doing, and I think every season or every year you will see something happening, all culminating to 2032.
I love it. So I want to leave my last question for your motivation as the last piece, but I want to throw in a fun one. I believe that you love your time in the bush.
Yes, I do.
And what would you say is your most favorite place to visit in KZN?
In KZN?
Yeah.
Babanango.
Oh, we've been to
Babanango. I think I've been there twice in 1.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
It's lovely.
Intimate.
Food is good.
Food is really good. It's amazing.
I love it. Yes, Babanango. Sing the song.
Babanango, you and I go.
He created that song whilst we were at Babanango.
Oh, really?
Babanango, you and I go.
Oh, wow.
Literally, oh, wow.
It's their jingle, and I'm going to charge them for it when they use it in 2032.
Lastly, Sinenjabulo, please give us motivation. What do you say to women that are just struggling right now and they're like, you know what? I'm struggling, I'm drowning.
There's two things. There's a Bible verse that I literally live by.
Yes.
And it reads, it's Romans 8 verse 28.
Yes.
And it reads, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
Amen.
That is literally what I live by. But also I just think, it's tough, man. Life is tough for everybody. But my thing is to them, live your purpose, walk your journey in your own pace.
Yes.
And just be patient.
Hey, that's the big one. Be patient, right?
Patient.
Sure.
I think we're also fixated on things happening now and getting results now. My now could be 5 years' time. Your now could be next month. Tomorrow, yeah. So be patient.
I'll be patient for that lottery win.
Yeah.
It could be tomorrow.
Be patient. Nothing stays the same ever.
Wow, that's also
nothing
powerful.
Stays the same.
Nothing stays the same.
Never.
Sinenjabulo, you've been absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
What a way to kick off the month of March, International Women's Month. Bless you for coming and speaking to us. Wishing you all the best on this journey to 2032. I hope it's spectacular. We look forward to seeing more leaps and bounds that AmaZulu will make to make this province so proud. And just thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Carol Ofori, weekdays 9 a.m. till 12, East Coast Radio.